Paris, 1944. The city lives between fear and hope. Sirens announce bombings, Nazis patrol the streets, and the air smells of betrayal. Amid the chaos, one man offers a way out, a kind, polite, charismatic doctor. He promises to save you, to help you escape the horror of war. His name is Marcel Petiot, doctor, politician, hero according to some. But behind the walls of his house on Rue Le Sueur, there lies more than promises. Blood, and a secret so macabre it horrified all of France when it was discovered. 27 bodies, a cauldron of death, and a man who swore to kill only the enemies of the fatherland. This is the story of the doctor who healed by day and killed by night. A murderer who deceived everyone, even history. The People's Doctor. He was born in France in the winter of 1897 in the small town of Auxerre, amidst the cold, the smoke from chimneys and the sound of church bells that marked the rhythm of a society still marked by the 19th century. His name was Marcel-André Henri Félix Petiot, and from childhood he was different. Not because of talent, but because of what his eyes hid. He was a quiet, observant child with a brief smile and a restless gaze. The teachers said he was intelligent, yes, but something about him was uncomfortable, difficult to decipher. When other children played in the playground, he watched them silently as if studying them. At 11, he was expelled from his school for bad behavior, theft, lying, manipulation. Nothing serious for an adult, but alarming in a child. His parents sent him to boarding school, hoping that discipline would cure his character. It didn't. He only learned to pretend better, to hide cruelty under charm. In 1914, when he was barely 17, the First World War broke out. Europe was covered in smoke and blood. Young men were dragged to the battlefields. Marcel enlisted proudly, with that strange mix of patriotism and a desire to experience horror. He was wounded, diagnosed with mental disorders, and sent to military hospitals. There he discovered something that would mark his life forever: the power of feigned illness. He learned to manipulate doctors, psychiatrists, and officers. He used madness as a shield, as a weapon, as a safe passage to get his way. After the war, he took advantage of veterans' benefits to study medicine. He graduated in 1921, with outstanding grades and an impeccable smile. Professors described him as brilliant but disturbing. His mind was sharp, his curiosity boundless, and his lack of empathy absolute. He settled in the small town of Villeneuve-sur-Yonne. There he opened his medical practice and began to build his public image. Dr. Petiot, kind, caring, and respected. He treated the poor for free, made home visits to the sick, and gave away medicines. His popularity grew. In a short time, he was elected mayor. The young doctor had become the town's most admired figure. But behind the walls of his office, darkness was already at work. He stole morphine from the hospital. He issued forged prescriptions. He played with his patients' trust like a child with fire. And when he was discovered, he feigned insanity to escape punishment. His talent for manipulating the system was as great as his disregard for human life. In 1931, a political scandal brought him down. Accusations of theft, embezzlement, and abuse of power. Petiot resigned as mayor, but instead of hiding, he reinvented himself. He moved to Paris, where no one knew his past. In the capital, the war had left open wounds. Poverty, fear, mistrust, fertile ground for someone like him. He set up his office at 21 Rue Le Sueur, a quiet, elegant street in the 16th arrondissement. There he began a new life. By day, he treated his patients with a warm smile and a perfectly ironed white coat. By night, he received visitors who never left. During the 1930s, France enjoyed apparent calm, but in the Parisian underworld, corruption, addiction, and crime were brewing. Dr. Petiot became a well-known figure. He treated prostitutes, police officers, politicians, criminals, and wealthy people alike. Everyone trusted him. He was charismatic, generous, intelligent. He had something magnetic about him, a dangerous charm that opened doors and disarmed suspicions. His house had 3 floors. Upstairs, life, books, paintings, antique furniture, the aroma of coffee. Downstairs, silence. A dark, soundproof basement with an iron table, hooks in the ceiling, a boiler, and drums of acid. A makeshift laboratory, his secret sanctuary. In 1939, World War II broke out. Germany invaded Poland, and soon, France. The country fell under Nazi occupation. Fear became commonplace. Jews sought escape, collaborators prospered, and desperate men would do anything to survive. It was then that Dr. Petiot saw the opportunity of a lifetime. With his brilliant mind and non-existent morals, he devised a plan as perverse as it was profitable. He posed as the leader of a secret escape network called the Fly Tox Resistance Network, a supposed clandestine aid organization. He promised fake passports and safe routes to Argentina, Uruguay, or Chile. In return, he demanded large sums of money and valuables that he would allegedly use for bribes. His office became the gateway to freedom. The victims arrived with hope. They trusted him, gave him their jewels, their gold, their faith. The doctor smiled, reassured them, and led them to the basement for the mandatory vaccination before the journey. There, hope died. Petiot anesthetized them. Sometimes he injected cyanide directly into the vein. Other times, he asphyxiated them with gas. The procedure was quick, clean, and silent. Afterward, he would observe the body for a few seconds. He said the exact moment when life faded was fascinating. Then he moved on to the dirty work. He used quicklime to dissolve the remains. Sometimes he lit the boiler and burned what was left. The smoke rose through the chimney and mingled with that of the neighboring houses. No one suspected a thing. Each crime was meticulously calculated. He kept documents, money, jewelry, watches, letters. He classified the victims' belongings as if they were medical records. Everything was in order, everything under control. To the neighborhood, he remained an exemplary doctor, the man with the kind smile who helped refugees, a patriot, a benefactor, a hero in dark times. The irony was perfect. While Paris feared the Nazis, the true monster lived quietly among them, using his gown as a disguise and his scalpel as a weapon. The war gave him impunity. No one asked questions. People disappeared every day, and Petiot became just another shadow amid the general despair. It is said that between 1942 and 1944, dozens of people, Jews, fugitives, deserters, even criminals seeking escape, passed by his house. None were ever seen again. The doctor promised them life and gave them death. But secrets, even the best buried, eventually come to light. In March 1944, a strange smell began to spread through Rue Le Sueur. A sweet, thick, unbearable smell. Neighbors complained to the police. They said black smoke was pouring from the doctor's chimney all the time. They thought he was burning garbage or dead animals. On March 11th, officers entered the house for the first time. What they found would forever change France's criminal history. The cellar door was closed, the smoke was thick. The police opened a window, and horror hit them full force. There were human remains. Bags full of bones, buckets with pieces of flesh, clothes still soaked with blood, fragments of partially charred bodies, and a smell they never forgot. In the cauldron, pieces of human flesh were still burning. The fire had devoured part of the walls. There were surgical tools, scalpels, bottles of acid, buckets of quicklime, and among the belongings, passports, letters, jewelry, money, everything neatly classified with names and dates.